Hey guys, look what I got. That's right, I got this E-Flite Pawnee Brave Night flyer. It's a little bit of a mouthful there. This thing is designed to fly in the dark, and it should open up a whole new area of RC flight to myself, and I'm really excited about that. But I'm going to quit talking. We're going to open up the box, and we're going to see what's going on inside. Alright guys, here's what we've got going on inside the box. As you can see, everything is packaged quite nicely. What I'm going to do is, since everything is all covered up, I'm going to take everything out of the packaging and we're going to take a closer look. Alright guys, here's everything that comes inside the box. As you can see, there are a lot of parts and pieces. In fact, there are more parts and pieces than I anticipated with this. Typically, E-Flite offerings, they don't have quite as many parts and pieces, but I think that's probably due to the night flying aspect of this aircraft, so I can handle that. I am having a little bit of difficulty handling this. This paint looks like it doesn't look good. It looks like somebody scratched it and then touched it up with really poor touch-up paint, and this is a brand new model right out of the box, so I'm not happy about that. However, I am happy about the two props that this comes with. That is always an added bonus for me. I usually don't ding up my props. Usually, in fact, I think almost all my airplanes I've got the stock props on them. However, it's nice to have that insurance policy without having to go online and order or go to the local hobby shop or anything like that. So that is definitely a bonus. Alright, with that, I am going to put this together, and when you see it again, it'll all be put together. Alright guys, here's what it looks like all put together. Now, I encountered some interesting issues when I put this together. There are three primary, pretty major things. One I alluded to in the very beginning, that was the issue with the cover of the battery bay, which should never happen. The other issue is the pilot is not glued in. He's just kind of loosey-goosey bouncing around in there. And the last thing is the horizontal stabilizer. On one side it's nice and even and level. On the other side it's not. In fact, if you look right back there, you can see that that lip is pointing up and this one is nice and flush. Of course, we'll take a look at all three of those things coming up. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that the hardware used to put on the landing gear as well as the tail section is super soft. I was able to use all that hardware that came with the kit. However, I had to go super slow to make sure that I did not damage that because it is very soft. Another thing I want to point out is, and this is on the plus side, it does come with a screwdriver. So I used this screwdriver as well as a wrench to secure the spinner and all of the prop accessories. So that's definitely a pro. But now we're going to take a closer look at the issues. Alright, so here is a look at the battery bay cover. As you can see, it's a nice finish overall. However, right there in the middle, they decided to add extra paint to it or touch it up, maybe because the foam was having issues, I don't know. But on a brand new plane, I do not find this acceptable. So, alright, on to the next issue. Alright, so this is the right side of the horizontal stabilizer. As you can see, everything is nice and level. And this is the left side. As you can see, it is different than the right side. And the last thing is the pilot. As you can see, he's kind of there off to the side. I didn't notice this right away. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have built this, considering that, it's kind of a major component. But if you look, sorry for the glare, guys. If you look in there, he's kind of just not even seated in there properly. Yeah, you can see he's got black paint in the back and he's kind of come loose. When I was not on camera, there we go. I was able to shake him like, oh no! Don't let your crazy friends fly me! Ah! Yeah, so I guess in that regard it's fun, I can do that, but as far as flying with the pilot, I'd prefer my guy to be nice and secure in the cockpit. One other thing, and I know this is well documented, and I was aware of it before I bought the plane, but this paint, I was very gentle with this plane, and this is already flaking right around there, so that is another con on this. Alright guys, now that we got that negative stuff out of the way, we are going to concentrate on the positive stuff. The positives are, the lights on this thing are awesome. This is just the navigation lights on. Alright guys, here's what it looks like with all of the lights on. As you can see, it's full of illumination, and it should make night flying really nice. I am so excited to fly this thing. You have no idea. The weather has been horrible, so I haven't really been able to fly much of anything except a few little things around my apartment, but that's it. Alright guys, here's what it looks like inside the battery bay. First thing I want to show you is, this is the switch that turns on the wing and the fuselage and the tail section lights. Right here, this is where the main wing LEDs plug in. I do want to go back to this a little bit regarding the wing. Installing the connectors under the wing before you put the wing, attach it to the fuselage, is not an easy task. At least it wasn't for me. The area that you put that in was not installed 100% centered, so one side was somewhat easy and the other side was mission impossible. I needed to channel my Tom Cruise to make that happen, but I did. I was persistent and we had it. This is where the battery goes. Now the center of gravity, according to the manual, is right about here, and with this battery right here, it's a 2200. That has to be all the way forward to get the CG right, and it's just about perfect. So, at least according to the manual. So we'll find that out on the maiden flight. Another thing I want to point out, and this is kind of rare for E-Flite, we've got a wood battery bay. I'm not really a fan of those. If you got foam and plastic, things like that, Velcro sticks to it easier. At least that's what I've found. So yeah, so take that for what it's worth. Just note that if you're interested in this plane. Alright, I'm going to wrap this up and we're going to cover the final notes here shortly. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap this thing up with some final notes. Even though I covered quite a few cons, I don't think they're going to cause major problems with the flight performance. This does have AS3X, so that will help smooth some of those things out. And the battery bay cover, that's purely cosmetic. The pilot might be rattling around in there at high throttle. I don't know. I hope not. When I tried to shake it for you guys, it didn't rattle nearly as much as it did last night. So that might not be as much of an issue as I'm thinking it is. We'll find out. I will report back. I'll reserve final judgment on this plane until I take off. I will repeat that I am absolutely excited with how well these lights work. This should, if it flies well and those issues aren't real issues, which they really shouldn't be, I'm going to be very happy with this plane once I get it off the ground. Of course, when you get something brand new, you want it to be perfect. It's really hard, especially the way these things are made, for anything to be perfect. I recognize that. So I'm going to wrap this thing up. Like, comment, and subscribe. And GBLynden out.